What is up, Breaking Bad fans? Kino here, and welcome to another Breaking Bad log. Today we're looking at the second episode of Season 5, Madrigal. Now, the episode opens in a unique location for the series, Germany. Peter Schuler, an executive for Madrigal Electromotive, is testing sauces. He's informed by his secretary that the police are there to speak with him. He is aware that Gus's drug connections have been discovered, and he knows it's the end for him. He then goes to the bathroom, where he kills himself through electrocution. After the title, Jesse calls Walt, worried about what might have happened to the ricin cigarette. Walt, of course, has it, as he had Huell steal it for him in order to frame Gus. He hides the real ricin in an outlet in his house. Walt then goes over to Jesse's house and pretends to help him look for it. Walt secretly stashes it in Jesse's Roomba, where he finds it. Jesse then breaks down, believing himself stupid for losing the cigarette. Walt uses the opportunity to gaslight Jesse into continuing to help him cook meth, as he plans to restart their drug business. Meanwhile, Mike is at home recovering. Walt and Jesse come over and ask him to be part of their new venture. They offer him an equal partnership, but he refuses, as he believes Walt is a time bomb waiting to get them all killed. Meanwhile, Hank and the DEA meet with representatives from Madrigal. They claim that they had no knowledge of Peter's involvement with drugs and pledge their support in investigating any remaining people who might be involved. After the meeting, Hank tells them about the magnet incident, saying that though the laptop was destroyed, they probably wouldn't have gotten anything off of it anyway because it's encrypted. He does mention that they found Frank's financials and are investigating. Murkert reveals that he's being forced to retire due to his close relationship with Gus. He laments that someone he was fond of was something else entirely, and it's ironic given that the same thing is happening with Hank and Walt. Later, Lydia, one of the representatives of Madrigal, meets with Mike in a diner. She was part of the drug empire and is worried about Fring's men, who the DEA have arrested. She suggests that Mike kill them all in order to keep them quiet, but Mike says that they have money set aside to keep them loyal. He warns her against doing something dramatic, as these are his men. Later, Mike is called in to speak with the DEA, running into Chow along the way. Mike tells Hank and Gomez that he was corporate security for Los Pollos Hermanos, and he had no knowledge of any drug business. Hank reveals that they know about Mike's troubled past as a cop in Philadelphia, and they also have the bank accounts that Fring set aside for his guys. One of these bank accounts was for Mike's granddaughter, Kaylee, and they have seized all of the money. They offer him a deal if he cooperates, but Mike refuses. Meanwhile, Walt and Jesse meet with Saul to discuss their plans. They need a new place to cook, and they also need methylamine, which is hard to come by. Saul advises them to give up while they're ahead, but Walt refuses as he has no money left at this point. He also knows there is so much money to be made from selling meth, and no one currently servicing it with Gus gone. Meanwhile, Mike is playing with his granddaughter when he gets a call from Chow. Chow is worried about the feds and asks Mike to come over to his house to talk. However, it's a trap being set up by a hitman. Mike is aware of the trap, though, and takes the man, who was one of his guys, unaware. He reveals that Lydia paid him to kill all of the names on her list, including Mike. Mike then kills his former comrade. That night, Mike travels to Lydia's home in Houston. He holds her at gunpoint, intending to kill her for going after him. She begs him to leave her body so her daughter doesn't think she abandoned her. This stirs something in Mike, and he changes his mind. He asks if she can still get her hands on methylamine, which she can. Mike lets her live and calls Walt, telling him that he changed his mind and wants to be involved in their venture. Walt is satisfied with this turn of events, as it's all going according to his wishes. Later, Walt crawls into bed with Skylar and tries to cheer her up. He also tries to initiate sex, but Skylar is extremely uncomfortable with him. This is the first appearance of Madrigal, a German company mentioned in seasons 3 and 4, and a title of the episode. The word madrigal refers to a kind of song sung by a choir or multiple people. It's also interesting that the company is based in Germany, the same place Walt's namesake Heisenberg comes from, and we'll of course see further German connections later on. When Walt and Jesse meet with Mike, you can see one of Kaylee's drawings that says blue is good, a reference to Walt's blue meth. Finally, one of the restaurants that is owned by Madrigal is called Burgermatic, a reference to a fast food chain from the movie Home Fries, which was also written by Vince Gilligan. And that's pretty much everything I had to say about the episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next one, coming soon. I really want some of that French now. Russell, Sean, Heart of Markness, Logan, Clean, John Reyna, Jesse Sterling, Andrew Stewart, Obs Crazy Media, Daz J. Kid, Conan Higgins, Sam Cedarlin, Don Lucania, Celery Man, Jenna Marie Johnson, Brad Smith Studios, and Uncle Mike.